Hello friends, it's Marianna and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited for today's video because I'm going to be showing you exactly how I manage all of my files for content creation, not just my video projects but also like my overlay files, stock videos, sounds, music, and also I'll be sharing why I have these two things, an SSD and a hard drive as well, how I use them, why I have them, all of that. So without further ado, let's get started. I am obviously screen recording my Mac and I'm going to be taking you through this right here and exactly how I organize everything. I find this so interesting. When I was like starting my content creation journey, I wanted to make sure that I had my stuff organized well because I know it's so useful when you're trying to come back to projects if you need to. And now that I am full-time and I have my whole process nailed down exactly how I want, and like my organization for my YouTube files hasn't changed for like over a year, I wanted to share with you guys because this is like my perfect organization. So as you can see here on my Mac, I just use like the main movies section for it. I didn't create a special folder, and we're only going to be looking at these first three right here. What I have under constants, essentially things that I am constantly coming back to, as I'm sure you could have guessed. I have this little zero here just so that it's like the first thing always in my movies folder. It's just going to be this constants folder. When you click on it, there's quite a bit going on here. This right here is the template, which will make a little bit more sense when we go into like the 2025 YouTube, but essentially it just has all the months ready to go so that I can copy and paste when I'm creating my yearly YouTube and verticals folder. Then I have like channel banners where I had old channel banners, and cards, which I don't actually use but I've like tested with them before. And then I have here my overlays. So these are just overlays that I like to come back to that you might have seen on some of my videos. So this one, for example, is a little loud. Let me lower the speaker. But that one I use to like cut certain things. Or this one from like SpongeBob.
A few moments later.
So stuff like that I want to be able to come back to. And then I also have this thing called My Doodles, which is my own doodles that I've made on Procreate. But I use this one quite a bit, like the little stars. It looks a bit weird. There we go. So this is just like a very fast clip that I can replay. And then my MacBook YouTube intro, like image, I have that here. And then also this white arrow. I don't know if you can see that in this background, but I use that one quite a bit in my videos as well. So these are just kind of some overlays I come back to. Different profile pics, self-explanatory. Music, I like to organize it quite well. Now I use Epidemic Sound. This is not a sponsored video, I swear. I think it works really well. And here I've basically separated into what I think the vibe of the song is. So for example, I have here whether it's instrumental or lyrical, because sometimes I want it to have lyrics, especially when like doing vlogs and you're just showing a lot of b-roll. Like it's quite boring if there's no lyrics sometimes. And then for like the upbeat chill and this one, and then anything like very specific I have as well in this theme. So like Brazilian music, Christmas music, all of that stuff. Randoms we're not going to go into. I just put stuff there that has nothing to do with this. And then sample video organization is something that I used to use. I don't use anymore, but I don't want to get rid of it. If you are making videos and each of them have like very specific things, there's gonna be like lots of different versions and exports, lots of different b-rolls and overlays, and you want to have that from that specific video project. I then have this where within like the video, like the sample video organization, I would usually like rename to whatever that video is called, and then within that I have like separate folders for everything that I used. I don't use that anymore, so I just keep it here in my constant so I can refer back to it if I need it. Then sounds is where I have all of my different sound effects, and then stock images and stock videos. Self-explanatory is where I keep all of the stock stuff that I have used in the past, and I do rename it so that it's easy to find for myself. So whatever I was searching at the time to find that video is what I then kind of rename it, so that if I search through here I'll be able to find something quite easily. Then I'm gonna jump first to my YouTube instead of the verticals, but essentially you can only see June to December, which is where I'm gonna talk about this guy. I have the rest of them in here. Whenever it's the start of a new year, I will go into my constants and I will copy this year template, which then has all the months ready to go in order, and basically that's where I start organizing my videos. So for example, we're in September right now. So as you can see, my past couple videos are right here. My closet clean out, my sad to happy vlog, the story time, Ta is what I'm calling the artist way, week 1. So, and this is the one I'm doing right now, which is files, which I have the thumbnail ready, which is nice to have. So essentially, every time I start a new month, I'll create a brand new library for Final Cut, and I'll add that in, as like the first thing in the months folder. And then I just create a new folder for each video that I make, and they're all in the same Final Cut library. And then for each video, I'll create a new event and project. This isn't a Final Cut video, so I'm not going to go too much into that, but basically the way that I organize each YouTube video, I'll create a folder for it, and then you can see here, for example, in my closet clean out video, anything that was relevant to that, the thumbnail and the exports will go here. Anything that I take from like the constants folder. So if it's like an overlay or a music or a sound effect, I'll keep it in that folder and I'll just like drag and drop it into the project. But if it's something specific to the video, like for example in the Artist Way week 1 vlog, I talked about concert photography and I had some photos here that I took, so that would be within that because it's not like an overlay I would reuse in the future. And again, the reason why I organize it so much like this is because then if I do need it, I know that in the Artist Way vlog week 1 I used my concert photos. I can just go there instead of like scrolling through my entire camera roll. So that's why I think it's so important to stay organized. If you're also wondering what this view is in Mac, it's in Finder. It's called the columns view and you can change it right here. If you can't see this bar, then you can go into view and then do as columns or do command 3 and it'll also switch to that. It's my preferred view because as I use so many folders to organize everything, I like to see like the path of the folders that I took and be able to bounce back from them, so like it's just easier for me. But yeah, I can give an example as well for like August. There was a video, which one? There's this video here which I talked about what I take to go to a concert, and you can see there's one for B-roll because I had lots of B-roll from my iPhone, so I wanted to have that all in one place and not just throw it all into one big section. So the inside of the actual video folders, as you can see, they can be a little bit messy, but it's still quite organized for me and it works for me in my brain, so take with this and adjust it as you want. But that's kind of how I organize my YouTube videos. And then with verticals, I only have a few, so I don't really create most of my verticals, and by verticals I just mean content that is like for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, or TikToks. I don't usually create them on my Mac like using Final Cut, but sometimes I find it easier depending on what the content is. I'll have the same system where I have the months here, and then I'll create a new library for the verticals for that month, and then a folder for each one that I do. These are some random things that I have here, but that's essentially how I do it. This has been such a really easy and helpful way for me to organize my YouTube content. It's so easy for me to access the overlays that I need, the sound effects that I need, and then whenever I'm like trying to reference something that I used in the previous video, I can just go there and find it exactly whatever it is I needed. So this has been so helpful. And now I'm going to show you how I use these two things. This is a Lacy hard drive. I just use this to back up my Mac. This has nothing really to do with the content creation file organization, but I wanted to mention it because if you are using a MacBook, you can't just rely on iCloud backup. It's not going to back up every little thing. If you want to upgrade to a new Mac, then this is the best way to copy everything exactly as is to a new one. But if something happens, obviously we don't want that to happen, but if anything happens, your computer stops working, it gets lost, it gets stolen, you spill like water, it's water damage, and you lose everything, having a time machine backup on a hard drive will get you every little thing back. And I do encrypted backups, like they have everything, and it's just like so helpful. Before going full-time into content creation, I would back up kind of sporadically whenever I remember to, but now I have a reminder on my calendar to do it every single month. So first of the month I do a backup because this is literally my life, my work, everything that I do is on my Mac, and I just don't want to risk losing anything. So get yourself a hard drive, back up your Mac every month, more often if you want to. It's one of those things that I used to say quite frequently on my channel, but I'm someone who would rather always have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So I personally don't need to look at my backup unless I'm gonna go to a new Mac and I want to transfer everything. But if something happened and I didn't have that, I would generally cry and like not know what to do with myself for a bit. And I know that might sound dramatic, but it's literally like my work and so much of my life, family, photos, memories, people who aren't even on this earth anymore are on there, so I highly recommend that. That was a bit dramatic, but I am quite passionate about backing up my stuff and my information. And then this SSD is from Western Digital, and it is what I use to kind of move my projects. So as you can see, everything that I'm editing, like my Final Cut projects, is all local on the Mac, which does take up a lot of space over time. So that's why like on here on the YouTube you can see it goes up to June. So everything from this year between January and May I've already transferred to here, just literally by like clicking and dragging to transfer onto here. But I just find it so much easier to edit directly on my Mac. I used to in the beginning edit directly onto a hard drive so that I didn't have to worry about transferring it after, but I just like being really mobile and like not having to plug something in and having it dangling off my Mac while I'm editing. So I can literally edit wherever, like if I'm in a really small cramped space or like on my desk, I don't have to worry about taking a hard drive or an SSD with me. I just kind of transfer things here roughly every 6 months because my Mac is a 1 terabyte, so it does have quite a bit of space, so I don't have to like move things around all the time. But it's also why you can only see here the 2025 YouTube videos, even though I have from like 2023 in here. And yeah, it just keeps things organized and simple on my Mac without having too much clutter. That is everything. That is how I organize all of my content creation, like YouTube related stuff mainly. My camera roll is very disorganized. I have never taken the time to organize it. Instead I just buy more iCloud storage. But when it comes to YouTube videos and like doing like long form content, I like to make sure that I'm very organized, and this system has kept me going for the past like 2-3 years, so it has worked really well for me, and I like things done a certain way. So I hope that you can take some inspiration from this. If you have any more tips on how you like to organize, something that I might have missed, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, because that really helps me and my channel. And if you want to see more from me, don't forget to subscribe as well, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!